Happy Ham Day, everyone. This is Yuri, aka Russian Prototype. It's Wednesday, September 22nd, and tonight we're going to talk about what does it take to have a mindful relationship. Right off the bat, we have Kai over here with the super sticker, super chat, five New Zealand dollars. Listen, today's Kai's birthday, and one interesting thing that we do in Russia when it's somebody's birthday, we tell him a wish. I wish you, and then we give him a list of things that we wish them. That's sort of a tradition. It's a custom that we do in Russia. And so, what I would like to do, I would like to say, Kaya, I wish you always to remain so kind and so considerate that you are. And, I wish you plenty of good health, plenty of love, plenty of happiness, plenty of joy, and as we say in Russia, everything that you wish yourself. Happy birthday. Thank you for your continued support. Thank you for your kindness. And thank you for being part of this incredible community. I really appreciate you. And I hope you have an incredible day. Have, and will have an incredible day today. Because I believe it's about 5, 6 p.m. over there. So you still have evening ahead of you. So be sure to celebrate you and really enjoy yourself. We appreciate you. I appreciate you immensely. Let's see who else is in the house. This is a wonderful, wonderful start of this live show. Love this prototype family. Amazing people, part of this community. We also have Felicia in the house. We have Jamie in the house. We have Heather in the house. And Becky. We also have Becky in the house. Hello, hello. Thank you for being here, everyone. There's an inclement weather right now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to disconnect my Wi-Fi just in case. And let me know in the comment right now if it actually going to work, because I'm going to switch to hardwire from my Wi-Fi, okay? So I would like to know if you can still hear me. Can you still hear me? Can you still see me? Please let me know in the comment, and I'll give a second for somebody to respond. Just say I can hear or I can see or whichever, because I definitely don't want to lose you. Hopefully I didn't lose you. This technology, it's tricky. Let me tell you. When you think you got it figured out, sometimes you just don't. Sometimes you just don't. Give me a comment if you can hear and see me. Cool. Sweet. Thank you. Appreciate it, Jamie. All right. We're going to jump in just a second. I'm going to pour some water. No, don't get excited. It's not vodka. It's just water. And by the way, it's not vodka. It's vodka. Vodka. Oh. So, Jamie, you need to know that, because you're going to be going to Russia. You're going to be offered not vodka, vodka. Okay? You got to know this. So the goal for tonight is to cover what is mindfulness, why is it important, and how to have it in the relationship, okay? First things first, let's see what Google tells us, all right? And Google tells us that mindfulness, there are a couple definitions. The quality of state of being conscious or aware of something. And by the way, that comes from Oxford Languages. And the second definition, a mental state achieved by focusing one's awareness on the present moment while calmly acknowledging and accepting one's feeling, thoughts, and body sensations, used as a therapeutic technique. So pretty straightforward, right? I also like this definition by that looks like appears on mayoclinic.org. So right here, let me actually enlarge it so you can see it a little better. Boom. Right there. Boom. Boom. Screenshot this puppy right here. What is mindfulness? Mindfulness is a type of meditation in which you focus on being intensely aware of what you are sensing and feeling in the moment without interpretation or judgment. All right? Very important. Without interpretation or judgment. Practicing mindfulness involves breathing methods, guided imagery, and other practices to relax the body and mind and help reduce stress. So what's really interesting about this definition that they went straight for an example. They called it as a type of meditation. All right? And so you can see the difference. Some call it mental state, uh, some call it meditation, but one thing is an internal sort of state that you have, right? That's my interpretation of it. Mindfulness, it's how you feel in the present moment. And why is it important? Why is this important? Why mindfulness is important? Because there is only present moment that exists. Past is past. It never going to come back, and future is future. It may never come. For all we know, not to be pessimistic over here, but for all we know, the the life on Earth can end in one moment. It's going to take a big rock from space, just like it did during dinosaurs era, to wipe out 99% or whatever it was life on Earth. And therefore, there's only present moment because we really don't know. And it's not being a pessimist. There's a lot of unknown things out there, out in the universe, out in the world that we can't fully anticipate. And there's only present moment, only a present moment. Before we move on, let's look at some comments from the Prototypes fam, and then I'm going to tell you my story, my mindfulness story, and how I with this concept of mindfulness, because I think it's important for you to know this. Jamie said, I do need to know. Thank you. I have been told it is required. Oh, yeah. You're talking about vodka. Yes, 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 yes. Heather, before I forget, I just learned today the Russian word for jellyfish, medusa. Yes, it is medusa. That's good. Look like medusa. That's right. Start thinking. What I want you to start thinking is, and I'm going to ask you a specific question that I want you to answer in a little bit here pertaining to relationships. But being that mindfulness revolves around mental state and present moment, how, in your opinion, I want you to start thinking about it. How can you achieve that in a relationship? Okay. So if you going to answer that, feel free to start kind of like brainstorming. I'm going to ask that question slightly differently later. But if you want to answer that question prematurely, be my guest. Just put down mindfulness in relationship dash or something so I know that's what you're referring to, because that's the ultimate question of tonight's live show. How do we achieve mindfulness in the relationship? But before we get there, we need to talk about how we can even get there individually and what does it mean individually. Okay, so this is where we're going to go with that. Uh-oh, please don't tell me it does. No, now you can. This might be inclement weather that I told you about, but I am connected through hardwire. Okay, good, 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 good. Yeah, I'm connected through a hardwire, so there's nothing. I don't even have Wi-Fi on. So if I'm gonna go out, there's really nothing more that I could. Well, one thing I could do, I could probably try to switch on my phone, my hotspot. So Cool. Keep me posted in the comments, okay? I appreciate you letting me know. So if I get frozen again or you can't hear me, let me know in the comments so I can try to switch to the hotspot if needs to be. Sweet. All right. Thank you, thank you, thank you. As promised, next thing I'm going to tell you is my mindfulness story and how I even came across mindfulness and why I even care. Because yesterday, when we were talking about present moment in relationships, right, that was immediately one thing that kind of jumped to mind: being mindful, being aware. And how it's kind of interesting how it all came about. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you a story, okay? When I got my graduate degree, I was fortunate to land a job before I graduated, okay? Before I graduated, I ended up with a job offer. Okay, sorry about that. I got distracted. Um, looks like Elvi is in the house as well. Thank you for being here. All right, let's rewind it. Let's start over. Where's my sound effects? That's not it, but whatever. So my mindfulness story. When I graduated from my university with a master's degree, I got a job in Virginia, and it was my first professional job. I was working for a recreational department as an assistant director there, and part of one of my duty within this job was to chair a wellness team. Wellness team was a group of individuals in this university who were responsible for um, wellness initiatives for the entire campus. So I came in, brand new employee, fresh out of college, and I was sitting there in that room, with 8 to 10 other professionals, and I was talking about how to incorporate programs for students, how to make students healthier, how to make students happier, how to make students more engaged. And one of the big emphasis of this wellness team that I was chairing at the time was mental health. And as we continued conversations about mental health, mindfulness continued to come up. The concept of mindfulness continued to come up. We continued to discuss it. We continued to kind of like, researching this concept. We realized that we've had a yoga teacher who taught a group fitness class for us, who really was big on these concepts, on mindfulness. And I think he was actually, when he found out what we were doing with mental health, he was a big proponent of introducing mindfulness as a concept to the campus. Long story short, we ended up having what we called a mindfulness week. The entire week uh, full of programming, uh, full, like, we had guided meditation sessions, we've had some presentations, we've had a guest speaker. Actually, this lady was coming in from Harvard University who co-wrote a book, so she was an author. Lillian Chang, I believe, was her name. And so this was amazing. And so through all of that, I learned some very interesting things about mindfulness, because the more we start doing it, the more information I would gather on a personal level about mindfulness. And I really connected with the concept of mindfulness, connected with the idea of being present in the moment, and how it affects our body and our mind. Because quite frankly, it affects not only brain, but it also creates kind of a calmness, if you will, calmness of the mind, right? And the definition that we've seen in the beginning just a few moments ago it's so important that when we talk about mindfulness as a concept, right? We want to be really focusing on not judging whatever thoughts that come into your mind, right? That's a big part of it. So you may be, let's say that you are taking a walk in your neighborhood and you use that as a way to relax yourself and to really practice mindfulness. You're going to have different thoughts come in into your mind. There could be thoughts pertaining to your family. It could be thoughts pertaining to your job. It could be thoughts pertaining to your relationship. And I think what sometimes ends up happening, sometimes people end up being too judgmental or being too self critical in the sense that we say, why am I thinking about this? That's stupid. Why am I thinking about this? I shouldn't be thinking about that. And the whole idea of mindfulness is that you just you just allow those thoughts to come in. You kind of like a person who sees the thoughts, you acknowledge the thoughts, but you don't impose any judgment on your own thoughts. And that's the whole beautiful thing about this concept. That's the whole idea of being mindful, is that you don't, whatever it is, you just accept the things that end up happening in your mind, whether they're good or they're bad. Even if they're bad, okay, I don't have to be attached to the idea. It's just the idea. It's flowing into my mind for some reason. I might not necessarily be able to control it all the time because mind is also a mysterious thing, right? But even though it's flowing through my mind, I don't have to feel a certain way about it. It's just a thought, right? And so the next thing, the next question really that I have is that how does the inner peace affects the body? Because the overlying premise here of mindfulness that it should create an inner peace. That's the connection I make with it. It should create some inner peace in the sense that, okay, you realize that there's going to be thoughts coming in into your body, into your mind that you can't fully control, but you're going to be in peace with them anyway. And how does that affect the entire body? Because I think there has to be an impact that is created through this type of approach. And I think some people who may see this, may hear this and say, oh man, are you a hippie? That's a hippie type of stuff, man. Like that's what hippies do. And you know what? I'd rather be a hippie than a bully. If it's going to take for me to be a hippie to treat myself with sort of like understanding and self-consideration, then I'll be a hippie all day long, as opposed to be a bully who will be, you know, making myself feel guilty about the thoughts that I'm having. So hippie wins in this case. For me, hippie wins over bully every single day. But also, we have more questions than answers right now about this whole idea of mindfulness, I believe, is because it's so mysterious, because we just don't know exactly how it affects everything inside us. I don't believe that we have like tangible data. However, we have a lot of anecdotal data, right? If you look at some of the um, let's take some Shaolin monks in some of these Tibetan temples in China. I mean, they can live through, till the 90 and 100 years old and still be able to do physical activity, and I mean that, like, just demonstrating incredible longevity. And of course, it's not just about meditation. Of course, I'm not saying that that's the just one factor, right? That's the difficult thing, to know exactly what all the factors that will be contributing to that. It could be water they're drinking, could be air they're breathing, It could be just no stress, right? There's could be tons of different things. But one thing that we do know is that they practice meditation on a daily basis, and they practice these mindfulness concepts regularly. And so even if we going to assume 20%, 15% that it contributes to longevity and better health, I think it still needs to be acknowledged. We might not be able to prove it, but it still needs to be acknowledged that people who practice that, yoga is also part of it, right? Yoga could be considered mindfulness technique because you're moving your body. Tai Chi could be considered, Qigong could be considered mindfulness technique. People who do those things, who able to relax their mind, who able to not impose any judgment, and also meditation, practice meditation in motion through yoga, through Tai Chi, Qigong, these different disciplines. These individuals tend to be, um, they, how can I put it? I mean, again, like I can't prove it. I don't have data in front of me, but you've seen some of the elderly people who, either meditating or who are doing, who move in their bodies, and it does impact your health. It does. Let's look at some questions before we move on, because I felt like I spoke quite a bit there. Gabriel, bonjour. Hello, everyone from France. France is in the house. That's awesome. Thanks for being here. France is amazing. Went to Paris and a couple other places in France. Really amazing place. Thanks for being here. Oh my God, Heather, bonjour. You're learning everything. You're learning French and Russian. You are such a versatile person. We took some professional development courses on mindfulness. Oh, nice, nice. What did you think? The students do a version called Calm Classroom. Yeah, that's cool because, like, it's interesting to see how some people struggle just sitting in a quiet room without talking or without being on their phone and just quiet their mind. It's quite challenging for some individuals. It was challenging for me when I tried to do that. Not going to lie. Mindfulness teaches you to be reflective over reactive. Yes. Yes, it does. Um oh, at Heather, wish you good luck with French language. Nice. Good stuff. I like the conversation here. French is beautiful language too. Very pretty language. Bonjour. S'il vous plaît. Um, Mademoiselle. My French is not enough. Heather, I pick things up and drop them. I need to stick what I get started. Hey, stick with it. Definitely stick with it. Fitbit has mindfulness on the app too. It's interesting. Just a moment to be. Becky, mindfulness is my biggest challenge. Most of the time, I'm in two places at once. I have to focus on the present while ignoring flashbacks because of PTSD. Normally, people don't know I'm doing it. Becky, you're not alone. I think I can speak for myself. I mean, my mind's been racing lately. Been racing, and thinking about different stuff, and sometimes it's really hard to focus. And I think it's part of it. All of it is. It's kind of a similar concept, not being in the moment, thinking about something else versus really, really thinking about what's going on right now. Felicia, I love the concept of having mindfulness session at work. Yeah, that's nice. I can't pronounce that. I don't want to butcher that, but it sounds nice. Jamie, I think it would be difficult for people who are overthinkers as well. Yes, indeed. It is for sure. Strong ballerina in the house. Hello. It's peaceful. I go on silent spiritual retreats. Best thing ever. No talking either. You are given a name tag that says you are not speaking. Oh, ho, ho. That would be tough. That would be tough. I heard about these things before, and that's definitely not easy. So good for you. Props. Loving this, loving this, loving this. One thing I wanted to find out, because I wanted to give you some practical, practical ideas, right? So one thing I wanted to ask you, what is your mindfulness anchor? Because what I mean by that is that maybe there is something that can relax you. Maybe there is something that will allow you to get in that state, in that present state. For me, it's music. Music is really easy way for me to connect with the present moment. And because I find melodies and rhythms and sounds of music are just so incredibly powerful. Like they tell the story, they create a feeling, and I can immerse myself in that. So prime example, when I was walking just an hour ago and it started storming, not bad rain, like not super hard rain, but still got rained on. But I had my headphones in, and I'm just walking from the store and listening music. And even though, I think normally maybe I say, dang it, like, I got rained on, like I'm not feeling it, like this is not good. But I was listening music. It didn't even phase me. It didn't even phase me. I was in the moment. So what is it? What is it for you? What is this mindfulness anchor for you? It's not, and it doesn't have to be just one thing. I just gave you an example with music because for me, video games, when I play video games, I felt the same way. When I watch documentaries sometimes on YouTube about something that's really interesting, I feel like I'm in the present moment. Like things, documentaries about animals, documentaries about travel, documentaries about universe, those type of things make me feel that way. Dancing, dancing is another thing. Like back in my younger days when I used to dance, you know, and even now, it's an anchor. It's a mindfulness anchor. So, what is it for you? What can you think of that you can practice, or you can think of, or you can do that's going to put you in this mind space? What is your mindfulness anchor? Let's see some thoughts. Let's see some thoughts. Jamie said, I find my mindfulness easier in certain settings like nature. Here we go. So that's a perfect example. For some, like nature could be big, big way to connect with your inner self, because it's the natural beauty is we're part of this world, whether we want to deny it or not. We're part of this world. We came, you know, we were created by this world. Braina, what's up? Brazil is in the house. Thank you for being here. Braina said, hi, Yuri. Hi, girls. Already miss our nights together. I didn't forget to smash the like button. Have a wonderful night. I hope you're staying. I hope you didn't just come in, smash the like button and left. Thanks for being here. Becky said, for an anchor, I use music. It works very well for me. Sometimes exercising or reading helps too. Here we go. Perfect examples. Exercising can be a great way. Definitely, music can be a great way. So that's all wonderful, wonderful examples. Elvia said, your channel helps me be mindfulness. Be mindful. Oh, wow. That's amazing. That's amazing, Elvia. I'm glad to hear that. That's like incredible. Jamie, when I go take photos after I'm done, I just sit and watch the sunrise or the moon and I find my inner peace. That's perfect. I love, love, love. Um, well, you said sunrise. Sunrise. I'm a night owl. So for me it's sunsets. I love me some sunsets. I love the beautiful color of the sky. It's just it's just amazing. You can't even, there's nothing like it, you know. I think sometimes we're looking for this something incredible in this world, but it's right in front of us, you know. I'm a big big believer in the power of nature, in the beauty that it creates, because when you look at sunset, when you look at the stars, when you look at the moon, I mean, those things are just amazing. Felicia said music and working out for me. Yep. Trying to get back into this working out phase, one step at a time. Nez, what's up? We have Guam in the house. Thanks for being here. We have literally, again, half of the world here right now. So awesome. So the next logical question is, how can we apply it to relationship? Because the title of this show is, what does it take to have a mindful relationship? So it's not, just about personal mindfulness. It's about how can we apply it in relationship. So the next question that I would ask you is, what makes you feel in the present moment with your partner? Just like you were talking about nature, working out, reading, is that something, are those things important to your partner? Is your partner connecting with those things? Because if the answer is yes, if you both connecting with some of these things, right? Then I think you both can practice mindfulness in the relationship. And you can build on it, in my opinion. So both of you going and enjoying incredible sunset and truly being in the moment, that's a quality experience, a good quality experience where you can walk away from that moment feeling fulfilled, feeling sort of joyful, refreshed, because there's some sort of connection happening in that moment that has nothing to do with, I think, conventional things that we used to. It has to do more of internal factors that we connect on a different level with. And so the next question is, as I mentioned, as I promised, question for the prototypes. How could you achieve mindfulness in a relationship? Can you actually define it? I would like to I would like to know what it is. I would like to know your opinion and your take on it. When I say can you define it, I mean, can you point out to a concept? Can you point out to a word or combination of words? Can you identify it, right? What it is exactly? Because for me ultimately it comes down to developing a bond maybe that doesn't meet the eye, as I mentioned. And so some of the examples could be some of the examples could it be intimacy and affection? For some people it is. Could it be nature? Certainly a lot of you mentioned nature. Can it be his or her food? Yum, 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 deliciousness. Can it be exploration and travel? Can it be music? Right? A lot of you already mentioned some of these things, right? But what about not external things, but rather internal things that the other person will bring? What about kindness, appreciation, support, respect, consideration? What about those type of things? Can those things create mindfulness in the relationship? And I think it can. I believe it can. Because sometimes when you talk to another person and sometimes they say something to you and it makes you feel a certain type of way. Have you experienced that? When you talk to someone and it's just maybe the way they listen what you were saying, or maybe it was a very considerate question or thought that they had after you finished speaking, or maybe you were so head over heels about them that just by looking at them you felt like you were in the moment. And a lot of people love quality time. We kind of talked about it a little bit yesterday. So can some of these things, and that's not even a question. I actually think it's a belief, is that when you have some of these things, if you are noticing that you really have some of these foundational things in place, then when you start spending quality time, it becomes like tenfold more impactful, right? Because now it's two individuals who want to spend time together. They have some of these anchors, could be external, could be internal. When I say internal, it could be things that's listed on the screen: kindness, appreciation, respect. When I say external, it could be, well, intimacy or affection still could be internal, I suppose, but nature, food, exploration, music, those things are external, right? So I think it could be either or. In my mind, these are just anchors. They can really lead to mindfulness. But I would like to hear from you. I would like to hear your thoughts. Ness, hi Jamie. I hope it's all well with you. Sorry, I haven't been able to do some of the live chats. Been busy with work and school. No worries. Life gets busy. We get it. Jamie said, yes, we both love nature. One of the things we talk about is sitting and watching the sunset together or going to the woods and just having tea together. Simple things are a treasure. Love that. Love that. That's a big connection point. That's a big connection point because, again, spending time and doing things that you both enjoy, this will allow you to be in the moment. And that's within itself, even not talking about other experience, just taking this one experience and imagine that you with someone who enjoys that experience as much as you do. Like, that is a beautiful thing in and itself, because that very peaceful, and there's something magical about that when two individuals can just, let's say you're focusing on the nature, right? Both of you at the same time. But that in turn allows you to be right there in that moment together. Like, I think that that's a big, big thing to build on. And comes back to that point that we touched on before: things in common, finding those opportunities, finding those things that you both can embrace, not just do, love and embrace. I think that's the point. what are these things that both of you truly love and embrace? Strong believer in intimacy without the genuine spiritual connection is just lust humping. Fair enough. Fair enough. Becky said, sometimes it works good in relationships to center yourselves separately, but within the same space, like them playing games for a while and be in the room working on my writing can be tranquil. So you saying that you can do this by doing different things. You don't have to do the same thing. You can be mindful in your own way, and then your boyfriend or your girlfriend could be mindful in her own ways and do something completely different. Yeah, I think that that is interesting thought. Yeah, that's a different direction. You took it to a different direction, but I think it most definitely work. But then, the interesting question becomes, I mean, does it matter? Does it matter that you're doing a different activity with your significant other? Because at the end of the day, you're both being mindful. You're both being in the moment, right? So this is interesting. I, I think you can argue either way. I think you can argue that it's a good thing, but I think you can also argue that this is individual mindfulness more so than a couple's mindfulness, which is again nothing wrong with that. I think if you're doing it as a couple, but if you do it all the time and you don't really have time, like you don't come together as a couple, and if you're just trying to only be individually engaging in activities that you enjoy to do, then the question becomes, can that harm the relationship in the end? Felicia said, mindful individually and as a couple. Yeah, yeah, that it's interesting. Listen, it's interesting to think about this. It really is. I would say that, so to your point, Felicia, I would say this could be a good thing if both people, for one thing, can embrace each other's time away from each other. So it's not a jealousy type of situation. It's not a competition for each other's time, but you truly want your partner to spend time and to embrace what they love on their own, and they can do the same thing for you. If you can arrive at that point, I think that could be a good thing for a relationship. But I think what ends up happening is that people end up being sort of like immature and jealous about each other's time. People end up being almost resentful in certain instances when one is not spending time with an other. And and sometimes when people do spend time on their own, it can become, one of the situations where a person watch movies and she wants to like do something together, but he wants to watch movies and play games, or vice versa. Then these limits, not limits, the it's just becomes something else at that point. you know it becomes a different concept altogether. So I think it's if you can achieve that as a couple, to be mindful individually and be truly embracing each other's time and be individuals, right? Be true individuals about your mindfulness, then more power to you. I think it could be great. Jamie said, have to catch the sunset, but I will be listening while I drive. Yeah, please be careful while you're driving. Please be careful. That's for sure. My friends, I think that is the discussion that I've had for today. The question, the other question that I wanted to pose to you all was that maybe we can't even describe it, what it would be, mindfulness in relationships. Maybe it's just some sort of internal feeling that is there. And I think to an extent, it can be the case because I think sometimes we really don't know, what allows us to be with someone in the moment, right? I don't think that we always can define that clearly. Sometimes maybe it's just the way that another person looks at us. Sometimes it's what the other person says. Sometimes it's the smile. Um, so yeah, I think it's very interesting because mindfulness really speaks to deeper connection. It seems to me deeper individual connection, and therefore, if you can apply that to your relationship, you can really be on something special. Felicia said it takes two very mature people to accomplish that balance. Oh, yes. Sadly, it's way more immature people than mature ones. Well, I think there's a lot of people who pursuing their own needs, you know? I mean, like, how many people go in a relationship trying to learn as much as possible about another person and be steward, right? Or an advocate for that person? How many people do that? I know I'm guilty of not doing it in the past. A lot of times, I would be selfish. I'll be thinking what I can get out of the relationship, right? And so I think if more people go in the relationship with the given mindset, uh, it would help a lot. But the challenge is that in order for you to go into the relationship into a given concept, with the given mindset, I mean, there has to be a reason for you to do that, right? There has to be some sort of something that draws you to that person to begin with. So what are those things that can draw you to that person, that you're going to actually be willing to listen and to give? And another thing, that not everybody by definition are giving people. It's like, I talk about it. It's like, in the perfect world, we're talking about the ideals, we're talking about what could be. These are just somewhat philosophical ideas, to be honest. Like, some people, when you get to know them, when you talk to them, they don't even have capacity to think that way, right? Capacity to go into relationship and actually looking out for somebody else's well-being and trying to contribute to the other person. A lot of people don't think that way. Strong ballerina, it's a feeling, an energy. It's the way you interact and don't interact. The energy, it is a real thing. The energy is a real thing, and I think there's a lot of mystery, a lot of mystery about how people are attracted to each other and how it happens. Attraction is truly a mystery, and that's why, I'm trying to be careful. I do describe sometimes to you things from my practical Russian standpoint, but I also realize that there's a lot of unknown. I don't pretend to understand it all, because sometimes you are attracted to someone that you would never think that you would be. You know, they might not be your type, but there's something that pulling you towards that person, and you can't explain what it is. So, you know, as not to say that that mindfulness plays the role in that. I think sometimes attraction is just a mystery on its own. So I agree with the energy statement, strong ballerina, for sure. Becky said, this works when you are staying together. Most men get burnt out quickly if he has no space. I do too. I think this is realistic for the times. It's not romantic. Yeah, burnout is real. Burnout is real in relationships. And, you know, if you actually, speaking of mindfulness, right? If you appreciate your partner's time, and you know what your partner likes to do, and even if you don't like to do that same thing, I think trying to figure out how to work around it, allow your partner to do his or her thing, right, by himself or herself, or try to come along. And sometimes I think it's possible to evolve to like what your partner likes. But I don't suggest that you need to suffocate them with your attention and always be around. I think that individual time is necessary. Alone time alone is necessary. And the thing is yeah, I agree. Like, I think Felicia talked about balance. I agree that one of the hardest things to do is to accomplish the balance, to know where the balance is, because it's easy to tip the scales, very easy. And we're social creatures, but we need our alone time. We need to be able to recuperate, mentally and physically. And sometimes when you're just around the other person all the time, it's really hard to recuperate. It's really hard to, you know, to to have quiet time. It's really difficult to do. Phyllis said, attraction can happen when you least expect it. That's true. It can. It'll hit you like a ton of bricks. Hello. Becky said, this method also seems to result in less tension in arguments because you are not giving up your identity or give up your interest. The way you don't have to choose, you can balance. This way, you don't have to choose, you can balance. It doesn't have to be sexual in nature. It can be the way they talk, the way they hold eye contact, things they share about themselves with you. It's a powerful thing. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. 100%. And that is why I think sometimes we just feel it, but we don't know what it is. We can't really explain it. That's why it's a mystery. And I think that's why it still should be embraced. It's a beautiful thing. If we could explain everything, then life would not be as exciting, you know? So I think at the end of the day, when we come across these moments, we should be mindful. We should be mindful of them and allow them to be, not questioning it too much, not trying to figure out everything too much. If you don't know, you don't know. Allow it to be. Allow to be yourself in that moment. Look, it's a beautiful conversation. It's a beautiful conversation. I want to wrap it up. Unless you have any other questions, anything else to add, any other comments before I make my announcement. I did want to announce something tonight that I think is going to be important. And I want to acknowledge everyone who hang out on this live stream, on this live show with me. As always, the Prototypes fam. Put that hashtag Prototypes fam in the comments. Let's acknowledge everyone who've been here live with us. We had Felicia here live with us tonight. We had Becky live with us tonight. We had Strong Ballerina. live with us tonight. We had Heather live with us. We had Jamie live with us. Uh, I know Ness stopped by. We had Elvia hanging out and saying nice things. And then where was the person? Gabrielle from France was here. So thank you to every single one of you for hanging out and having this conversation. This was a good one. It was a powerful one. Love this. Love these hashtags. Love these hashtags. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Jamie's still able to put in a hashtag even though she's driving. You make me worry. You make me worry. All right, my friends. I wanted to announce something. So with these live streams, I enjoyed doing them Monday through Friday during the night time. Um, it's a lot of fun, but I want to switch it up a little bit. I want to try to do it on the weekends again. Couple reasons for that, because I want to be able to take a little bit more time to prep. I want to be able to see um, if there's going to be opportunities to get some live guests potentially and spice things up a little bit. So it's not just me talking. Um, I want to be able to, um, give you a little bit more during these live streams. And I also want to do it a different time to be able to um, potentially welcome, folks who are sleeping during this time. So all the like some of the European folks and some folks in different time zones, hopefully will have opportunity to join these live streams as well. And with that being said, I would like to try to do them on Sunday at this point. So I would like to do the next live show on Sunday, this upcoming Sunday, September 26th at 3 p.m. We never done 3 p.m. before. So, as you know, a lot of things that I do on this channel, I experiment. I experiment and then I look how these things go. So I kind of try to look at everything. And this is just part of it. So the previous Saturday live streams at 12 p.m., those who've been with me for a while, that the when I started in April, there was more like a Q&A at first. Then it really evolved into live guest type of live shows, and I think that really was interesting for people to hear perspective, not just my perspective alone, but perspective of other people speaking. um, and then so then the next thing we did bunch of live shows Monday through Friday, so also have the blast doing that. So now I want to try Sunday different time. So instead of 12 p.m., because I also realized that in the US a lot of people go to church, and I think that that's might be the time when they get out of church. So I want to be able to try to do it at 3 p.m. Eastern time at US. It should be still early enough in Europe to where some folks can join. So I wanted to give it a try and kind of go from there. Okay. Um, and another reason why, there's also another reason why I want to do that. I want to be able to get back and create more short format videos, because truth be told, I've been having a hard time to manage. I'm not going to lie to you, between the full-time job and the live streams, the short form content got kind of put on the back burner, and I want to reignite that. I miss those 3 to 10-minute videos on my channel, and I want to be able to do more of them, and then keep the live streams to once, or live shows to once a week for now. Okay. And yeah, So I wanted to make sure that you know this before we get out of here. Strong Ballerina said, don't hashtag and drive. Yes. Jamie said, I only type when I'm parked, guys. Good. That's good. You do have to stop the car to take photos. Please do. Take those photos and share it on Instagram. So with that being said, I hope to see you this Sunday, September 26th at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, USA. I still plan to do some of my Instagram lives, because Instagram lives more like about what's going on in the moment, more so than talking about specific topics. And I just go with my phone, as opposed to now I'm going through my computer with the mic and everything. So I still plan to do these Instagram lives randomly, just jump on and have a conversation. So there's still be plenty opportunities for us to connect throughout the day. And I might just do random ones on the weekend. I think it's also fun to do that when it's kind of not planned, and see who's around and who can join and have a conversation. And actually, with those things, it's even easier to bring you on and have a conversation on camera through the Instagram live. So that's just another opportunity there. But nonetheless, these YouTube live shows, they're not going away. They just get moved to Sunday, and we'll see how it goes. All right. We see if more folks can be part of it because of time difference, and we can bring that value to other prototype fam members. Uh, my dear friends, thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this conversation. Thank you for being part of the prototypes fam. I'm always only a message away, only a phone call away, on Instagram, on Twitter, on my email. So please don't ever hesitate to reach out. Uh, I will be seeing you on Sunday. I hope. Have a great rest of your week, and be mindful. Be mindful and be grateful. All right. With that being said, peace out, my friends. Much love, respect, and consideration and mindfulness. Russian Prototype is out.